Time to get your spook on, and what better way to do so than with a good old-fashioned zombie apocalypse. They're the first thing you think of when Halloween comes to mind besides these, but what happens when our beloved cartoon heroes have to face the undead? Heroes is a bit of a stretch in today's case, but welcome to the showdown. This Hallow's Eve, I'm pitting the Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends episode Nightmare on Wilson Way against the My Little Pony Friendship is Magic episode 28 Pranks Later. Both are about a mischievous azure-coloured character pulling a harmless prank that turns on them into a much bigger zombie-themed prank. To give Blue the edge here, at least he never destroyed a factory. I've said all I can say about the quality of Friendship is Magic over time, but Foster's Home, its spiritual predecessor in a way, is far from a favourite of mine. Still, I ought to give it a chance. Nightmare on Wilson Way was the 2007 Halloween special and originally aired in 3D. Can I just say that Foster's Home is the worst possible show to choose to air in that format? It's a nice looking episode, as I'll show soon, but they prioritize flat colours and shapes. That doesn't look any more striking with 3D glasses on. But whatever. The story is appropriately festive. Foster's celebrates Halloween, but they now have to be more strict with the tricking and treating than in prior years. For one thing, Mac has to be tied up in Blue's bedroom so he doesn't go on one of his sugar rushes. Why doesn't he just stay home? And as much as Blue pushes it, no one's falling for his snake in a can prank ever again after so many years. Then it keeps flashing back to the same year. The script editor must have been on holiday. But alas, Blue finds a sucker in the form of Harriman, who, after falling for the trick, appears to have a heart attack and collapse. Blue promptly celebrates the belief that he killed an old man.
He's dead! Yes! I knew this trick killed!
Remember when the worst thing he'd ever done was open a door? To be fair, he isn't a complete twit here. He does regret killing him and helps out the others in small ways after Harriman seems to instigate a zombie epidemic. This is a case of them going a bridge too far with his sassiness.
You gotta be careful who I show this trick to. It's deadly.
I get it's a Halloween special, dark humor is warranted, but it's still in the canon of Foster's Home. Blue gloating over murdering someone is still in the canon of Foster's Home. Madame Foster returns from trick-or-treating to get her wig and promptly gets bitten. Blue finds Eduardo hiding in a closet from the monsters, but doesn't get bitten yet. Wilt and Coco are answering the door for trick-or-treaters, but we can't have nice things in a Foster's episode, so they're roped into a survival team. As it goes on, it becomes a pretty generic zombie story. Everyone but the main character is picked off one by one, leaving a whole horde of recognizable faces getting green and clammy. If you're a zombie movie connoisseur, you'd call all the tropes. But this is a kids show, and they won't have that many frames of reference. Worst comes to worst, so Blue figures he has to save Mac from his captivity, or the zombies are gonna get him. Good thing they forgot about that axe Blue used to cut that sandwich earlier, because they can't figure out how to release him from these bonds. Blue has a very Blue-like solution: run away, steal some candy from children, and force-feed that candy to Mac, leading to one of his sugar rushes. Blue's about to escape with him until Harriman reveals that this was all a prank at his expense, because gaslighting a 5-year-old into thinking they're going to get killed is a far more professional prank than a snake in a can. I have to wonder if Mac was also let in on this. If so, how come he didn't say anything by the time Blue was force-feeding him candy? I really don't want to say that I hate this episode, because I don't. And this show has proven it can get far worse than this. This story's by the numbers, and it has some plot holes the size of Michigan, but there are quite a few good jokes scattered throughout it. Wilt using a fake arm to frighten the kids is pretty wholesome for a Halloween trick, and as annoying as Blue can be when you're spending 20 minutes a week with him, he strikes gold once in a while.
All I'm saying is trick or treat. I mean, they're giving me the option.
Trick or treat? I mean, they do give you the option.
True.
But they're usually dragged down by going longer than they need to, or undercutting a nice or friendly moment with something mean or confrontational. A problem that's not exclusive to this episode at all. At least this is one of the nicest looking ones. The designs for the Halloween costumes are all nice and creative. Frankie's always wearing a Powerpuff Girls t-shirt. It makes total sense that she'd cosplay as the best one. There's even a good gag here where an imaginary friend had the same plan.
Knew I should have been Bubbles.
And so you see him dressed as Bubbles for the rest of the episode. That is clever. Plus, Foster's in general was a great place to set a spooky story in. These dark, empty rooms have a lot of history, on top of just looking nice. My favorite things about Nightmare on Wilson Way are empty rooms and when it's referencing the Powerpuff Girls. That should tell you something about my opinion on this series. It's a fine episode of Foster's, but for me, that's a pretty low bar. Speaking of which, Season 6 of Friendship is Magic. A much shakier period of the show than usual, but not without its hidden gems. Hopefully 28 Pranks Later is one of them. It starts with Fluttershy and her animal buddies walking through the forest after a picnic that went overtime, only for them to get scared by a mysterious creature. This turns out to be Rainbow Dash in a disguise pranking them. This has set up that Rainbow Dash's pranking has gone too far compared to earlier stints, and that the episode is going to have a dark and scary tone.
Boo!
Neither of these are true for the next 10 minutes. The main six stage an intervention to confront Rainbow Dash about her pranking skills declining. She even gives Twilight a whoopee cushion. That's how lazy the jokes are getting. This whole scene feels very Season 6 for any show. It's just the characters discussing how played out certain conventions are getting. Few cartoons run for more than 5 or 6 seasons for a reason. Rainbow Dash misunderstands her friend's pleas to stop pranking ponies unfairly, as do more pranking, just make them more elaborate. Drop a boulder on Big Mac's back, get Mr. Cake to bite into a brick. Most of the other pranks in this montage are just as nasty, and remember, they're still escalating from making Fluttershy cry, something that used to be a no-no. I'll admit, the pranks are a little meaner than they needed to be to get this point across, but I still get where they're taking it. Rainbow Dash is taking things too far and upsetting Ponyville. Once again. Everyone except Pinkie Pie, who has the heart to understand their concerns and confront Rainbow Dash about it on her own. But Rainbow's about to unleash her largest prank yet. Replace all the Philly Scout cookies with specially ordered rainbow cookies, so everyone gets a rainbow mouth, courtesy of Rainbow Dash. Her words, not mine.
Every pony in town's gonna get a rainbow mouth, courtesy of Rainbow Dash!
I know you're gonna take this out of context anyway. Pinkie gets sick from the cookies, Rainbow Dash doesn't really care, then commerce happens, with Applejack and Rarity supervising the CMC's first cookie drive, and Rainbow Dash doing nothing but laugh her head off. They're doing a great job of getting me to compare her to Blue's, so I have to thank them for that. After they sell boxes to every pony, Rainbow Dash waits for the prank to take effect. This was all seemingly supposed to happen at nightfall? If the story didn't go the way it did, I can imagine a customer complaining about the Pretty Patty's side effects and ruining the whole scheme. But Rainbow is soon confronted by the town slowly zombifying, leeching toward her, hungry for more cookies. This is finally where the zombie invasion tropes kick in. I guess they couldn't do it for longer than 5 minutes, or else it would be too scary for younger children. But it's a shame an idea this grand had to be so short. This is no Halloween special, it aired in August after all, but there is more potential here for a zombie story than what we get. It's mostly Rainbow Dash has gotten carried away, she needs to be knocked down a peg, with the prank just being reserved for the third act. And yes, this is a prank. Pinkie Pie got the whole town in on it. Pinkie Pie makes way more sense to be the rival prankster than Harriman, but Ponyville is a much larger area than Foster's. It's more difficult to believe that Pinkie could get everyone in town in on this. Through all of this, the message is the clearest part of the story. If someone's not treating their community with respect, remind them to be more empathetic and show them how it feels if necessary. As tantalizing as the zombie angle seems, I feel it's a bit extreme for an episode with this sort of moral. It's season 6, they have to keep getting bigger and more surprising if they want to survive, but that comes at the cost of the simple charm that made Friendship is Magic so endearing in the first place. This is far from Rainbow Dash's most destructive performance, but it is one of her most callous.
Stop! No, wait! This prank is happening, Pinkie, and it's gonna be
But besides her, I think every pony else is in shape. Pinkie Pie's smart enough to put fun to the side in order to protect her community. You get a few small appearances from old favorites, and Starlight's nowhere to be seen, so it's not going to be one of those Season 6 episodes. One thing Nightmare on Wilson Way has over this is that it's got more captivating animation, despite being 9 years older and made back when Adobe Flash was more limited. You've seen one horror-themed MLP episode, you've seen them all, at least on a stylistic level. But that doesn't automatically mean Nightmare on Wilson Way is better. If I had to choose one to watch again, it would be 28 Pranks Later. Foster's is just a more frustrating show in general. A novel art style and a couple good quips can only carry them so far when the story's still littered with plot holes and unlikable characters. 28 Pranks Later is a mid-rate MLP episode, but at least the message is clear and the story has a purpose because of it. I can't wait to see what you guys think of Foster's Home, because it is a very love it or hate it show. Happy Halloween! Take caution when gorging on those peanut brittles and rainbow cookies. Goodbye for now.